time for your midday fix of facts and spicy side.
From breaking headlines to backroom whispers, all served hot and fresh. I'm Ferdi Salvador. Super glad to have you with us today.
I'm Mai Rodriguez. This is the Daily Dish.
And I'm Chal Lontoc. Join us in the next hour and a half where the news meets the stories that matter to you. Oh my gosh.
I know why you're thinking of that.
Why?
Because you're hungry. You want to eat tuna loin.
Ah, tuloy. Thank you. Yes, you read my stomach.
And with this weekend was something else. The world was shocked with what
First
happened.
Monday of March, a lot of things are happening.
Exactly.
Crazy news. Well, I'll start off with a little bit of a good reminder for everyone, a smart reminder actually, that today, if you have the time, make sure to gas up your cars because there will be a fuel price hike. The forecast has been made, so tomorrow at least 1 peso will be increased for both diesel and all the other oils that we will need in our life, except the hot oil sa buhok.
We're also worried about our kababayans in the Middle East because, of course, after the U.S.
Yes,
and
of course,
Israel
that will affect
Iran.
also. That will affect fuel price increases.
Yes,
So not
also.
only are we worried about our kababayans in the Middle East, but also over here because
It
this
has
is going to affect the global.
wide-ranging impacts from shipping
Correct.
to oil
Everything.
to air travel.
Correct.
Businesses are disrupted. So we just don't know how long is this going to drag
but
on.
my super correct, we're sending our love to all of your kababayans in the Middle East and whomever is affected by what is going on with the disruptions right now in Iran and
In
of
the
course,
Gulf States,
not only
yes.
that, we also have a lot of friends that are stuck in different parts of the world
Yes,
because
traveling.
of flight disruptions, I mean closures of airspaces. In fact, our friend Bea Santiago, our co-anchor here in Bilyonaryo, was apparently on the last flight coming in from Qatar.
From
before.
Qatar, and she got
Good that
to
she made
make
it
it.
back, yes.
She got to make
Yes.
it back, but a lot of our other friends are still stuck here and there. I mentioned the price hike for oil, but also remember, jet fuel will also be going up if that's the case. So if you want to really make sure to check on the prices, but also here's my tip when it comes to travel, Ferdi. A lot of people out there will start canceling their tickets. My suggestion is to wait for the airline to do it themselves so that you could actually make sure that penalties will not apply.
So there are no added charges.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's happening already.
It's already ongoing,
You know, in
yeah.
the UAE, fantastic enough, they've taken, I think, 20,000 plus stranded individuals from going in and out of the UAE with food and accommodation.
Yes.
So wow, and they did it quite quickly. You know, when you know the disruption started happening, they set up right now emergency visas, extended hotel stays, food, and you know, I guess
all other care.
I've been
that's
reading about
needed.
this because you sent it to the group chat. It's really commendable how the UAE responded to this, especially for the stranded travelers.
Yes,
It's efficiency displayed really in real time, and that's when you know when something is efficient, especially during crisis.
Yes, but you know, that being said, ladies, please make sure that you are checking out the real kind of stories on social media because there's a lot of videos out there that are false. So please make sure that you're watching the correct and authenticated.
Agree.
It's really quite alarming.
videos,
I've seen a few AI-generated videos.
Or
Yes.
other posts pertaining to the current happenings, but using old images from other events.
Yes. But anyway,
Good reminder, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about other things. I saw.
We need
on
to smile,
social
we need to
This
media-
is something that's
Yes.
also shocking to
Shocking,
us.
but
Yes.
oh my gosh, right? But better than war, right? So there is an IVF embryo mix-up of some couples in the U.S. So there's a Caucasian couple that, you know, that's been wanting to have a
There
child.
they are.
And that's their child. So obviously there was a mix-up. I mean, genetically there's a mix-up. So
Am I allowed to laugh or am I allowed to smile?
No,
I just feel so much
This
for
is
this.
really shocking, but also we feel bad for the couple
And
for,
the baby.
because-
Yeah, and
it's
the baby,
happening.
it's okay.
And this is not the first case, right?
apparently people are
Yeah.
now questioning from this IVF center in the US, which has not
gosh.
been named just yet. But people are scared now. What if they have mix-ups of other embryos? Because that's a life.
And that is a huge lie for parents who are availing of the IVF, that, you know, this is what I came here for and this is what I'll be getting. There's a huge gap, a huge one between that. So, wow, I didn't know that
And
this
now
has
there
been
are questions.
ongoing. I don't know if I'm going to smile or laugh, but seriously, this is
I'm
as
also-
serious as it is.
I'm also wondering,
Wow.
yes, what's going to happen to the baby if they've proven that, you know, it's not theirs, right?
Sorry, kasi
But it's-
Ano na, Ferdi?
So in some cases, it's pretty obvious.
in some cases,
Yeah.
definitely.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
But I hope they don't
Let's go to the
abandon
next
the
story.
child, though.
I don't think
diba?
naman they're gonna abandon the child. I think naman they're good human beings. But come on, right? All right. But a better
Okay, let's move on from that.
Okay, let's take it up a notch higher. It is the start of March, which it means it's Women's Month, and perfectly, we have our very
Yes.
own Monique.
Congrats to Monique Tucson Basi for being honored at the 10th Outstanding Men and Women of the Philippines 2026.
Woohoo!
Congrats,
Go,
Mo!
outstanding
That's our
talaga si
girl.
Monique.
Outstanding Mo.
Yes. And of course, today we've got, aside from a packed news, we've got amazing ladies that we're going to start off the Women's Month here on the Daily Dish. We've got life coach, Coach Pia Acevedo, and interior designer Cecil Ravelas. So
Yes,
watch
so
out
much.
for that.
Yes, so much to talk about. Stay tuned for those conversations. But first, let's get to the headlines. In today's headlines, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. confirms the death of a Filipina caregiver in Israel. The Department of Migrant Workers, meanwhile, is moving to repatriate her remains. The government orders a mandatory evacuation of Filipinos in Iran, Syria, and Iraq amid the Middle East crisis. The House Committee on Justice starts hearing the impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte despite the withdrawal of the second complaint against her. We get the latest from the Batasang Pambansa in a bit. And later in the show, we'll speak with life coach Pia Acevedo and interior designer Cecil Ravelas. Stay tuned for that. U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran over the weekend sent shockwaves across the world. Iran has responded with a barrage of missiles not only on Israel but also targeting Gulf states. Malacanang has confirmed the death of a Filipina caregiver following an airstrike in Israel. Ivy Reyes is reporting from Malacanang. Ivy, what's the latest from the palace?
My President Bongbong Marcos confirmed the first Filipino casualty in Israel, a Filipina caregiver from Pangasinan, who was unfortunately hit by shrapnel while en route to a bomb shelter.
Magandang gabi, ating mga kababayan. Ikanalulungkot ko na meron po tayo natanggap na report na meron na pong casualty na Pilipino dito po sa gera na nangyayari sa Middle East.
The victim was identified as Mary Ann Velasquez de Vera, a 32-year-old Pangasinense who started working in Israel in November 2019. Her remains have been identified by her spouse, who is also working in Israel. Meanwhile, the president has already expressed full aid and assistance to be given to the family of the deceased.
Lahat po ng tulong na kakailanganin ng kanilang pamilya ay ihahatid ng ating pamahalaan. Patuloy po ang ating pag-monitor sa kalagayan ng ating mga kababayan na nasa gitna nitong gera, patuloy pa rin sa Middle East.
Both the Department of Migrant Workers and Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, have joined Undersecretary Claire Castro to provide updates on the status of about 2.4 million Filipinos in the Middle East. Among the questions being raised at the moment concern the government's action on the possible or looming breach in oil prices and Iran's pronouncement last Saturday that they are on an unabated retaliation targeting American military bases. And this is relevant because the Philippines has 9 bases, 4 of which were added during the Marcos administration in 2023. Right now, that's the latest here from the palace. Mai.
So, Ivy, what's the directive of the president in terms of government intervention or response as the world, of course, braces for the effects of a possible prolonged conflict in the Middle East?
Yes, the latest update yesterday was that all embassies and labor attaches are in full alert. But from the press briefing this morning, DMW Secretary Hans Leo Hakdak said emergency action fund are on standby for those whose employment is affected. But as of now, they have not reached the level of requiring all Filipinos to evacuate or mandatory repatriate. Mai?
Thank you, Ivy Reyes, reporting to us from Malacanang. Authorities are now working together to bring home the remains of the Filipina who died in yesterday's missile strike in Israel. Joash Malimban is on the phone to tell us more. Joash, go ahead.
The Department of Migrant Workers says it is coordinating with the Philippine Embassy in Tel Aviv for the repatriation of the remains of Filipina caregiver Mary Ann de Vera. Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Hakdak said they are working with de Vera's husband, who also works in Israel, to arrange the return of her remains with financial assistance to be provided through government funds and the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. earlier said de Vera, who is from Pangasinan, was helping her elderly patient reach a bomb shelter when they were hit before making it to safety. She died after being struck by shrapnel from an explosion. Her identity was confirmed through biometric records at the Abu Kabir Forensic Institute, where her husband positively identified her remains. The Israeli embassy in the Philippines described her action as selfless, saying an alleged Iranian missile hit their apartment in Tel Aviv. Authorities assured that in-country assistance remains available through the Department of Migrant Workers and the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration. Officials are also urging Filipinos in Israel to stay indoors as the government prepares contingency plans depending on airspace conditions and flight availability. Later today, the DMW will hold a press briefing to address other matters regarding the situation of affected OFWs in the Middle East. Mai?
Joash, how is the Philippine government responding to Filipinos seeking repatriation amid the tensions in the Middle East?
The Department of Migrant Workers says it is ready to assist Filipinos in the Middle East who wish to return to the Philippines amid the escalating tensions in the region. The Philippine Embassy in Israel has received 52 requests so far for repatriation following the recent bombings involving the United States, Israel, and Iran. The DMW says it is working closely with the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration to facilitate possible repatriation efforts. Officials add that the situation remains complex, with nearly 2 million Filipinos working across Middle Eastern countries. The agency is also monitoring the possibility of raising alert levels, including a potential shift to alert level 4 for mandatory repatriation in affected areas. Filipinos in the region are being advised to follow local regulations and remain indoors unless necessary for their safety. Data from the DFA show around 800 Filipinos in Iran and about 31,000 in Israel who may be affected by the developing situation. Mai?
Thank you, Joash Malimban, reporting. The government is now going to evacuate Filipinos in Iran, Syria, and Iraq amid the crisis in the Middle East. Hannah T is reporting to us live from the Senate. Hannah, what's happening there?
My alert level 4 has been raised in Iran, Syria, and Iraq, according to Senate Migrants Committee Chair Rafi Tulfo, who had a meeting earlier today with the Migrant Workers Department and the DFA, as well as other government agencies amid the ongoing crisis in the Middle East. Alert level 4 calls for mandatory evacuation. Alert level 3 has been raised in Lebanon, level 2 in Israel, and level 1 in Jordan, with close monitoring continuing in other Gulf states, including the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Oman. The meeting with key government agencies tackled the current safety situation of Filipinos in the Middle East and the government's readiness should the conflict worsen. The Philippine Embassy in Israel earlier confirmed a Filipino casualty during a missile attack in Tel Aviv. This is Mary Ann Velasquez de Vera, a 32-year-old caregiver from Basista, Pangasinan, and her identity was verified through biometric biometric records at a forensic institute where her husband is also working. Millions of OFWs are currently working and living across the region, including Israel, Iran, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar. Tulfo sought assurances that embassies and consulates are in constant coordination and that contingency plans for evacuation and repatriation are ready to be activated at any time. The AFP earlier confirmed that a C-130 aircraft is on standby for possible mass repatriation, awaiting formal instructions from the DFA. Tulfo also directed the DMW to closely monitor Filipino tourists stranded by flight cancellations and to ensure that basic assistance such as food and temporary accommodation is provided when needed. At the same time, Senator Erwin Tulfo, chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, shifted attention to a different but related group of Filipinos, those who were about to deploy to the Middle East but are now stuck in the country because of flight suspensions and security risks. He called on the DMW and OWA to roll out a clear recovery plan for these workers, many of whom have already spent their savings on documents, medical exams, and recruitment fees. Senator Erwin proposed using the 2 billion peso Action Fund to provide financial, logistical, and mental health support to affected workers. Mai?
Hana, maraming ang pinag-uusapan dyan. Aside from the massive repatriation program na magaganap, may mga detalye ba? How is the government going to go about this? And are there other proposals from the other senators?
Mai, we've yet to hear another update this afternoon from the DMW as well as the DFA. Pero on the part of the Senate, some senators, including Senator Cheese Escudero, is calling for a more coordinated and anticipatory response since he is proposing for a dedicated Middle East Crisis Command Center to consolidate itong real-time monitoring daw at pre-position evacuation assets at masiguro na yung embassies and welfare officers are operating under a single protocol. Samantala, si Senator Risa Ontiveros naman binigyang giit na hindi lang dapat repatriation yung asikasuhin ng gobyerno kung hindi yung broader consequences ng conflict, kabilang yung potential impact nga nito sa energy security, cost of oil, gas, and basic goods. At sinabi niya na hindi lang short-term safeguards ang dapat alalahanin, kundi yung long-term strategy sakali ngang mag-continue pa itong gyera. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Hannah T, joining us live from the Senate. In other news, the House Committee on Justice starts hearing the impeachment complaints filed against Vice President Sara Duterte. Meanwhile, the group behind the second impeachment complaint filed against VP Sara has withdrawn it. Mavic Trinidad is reporting live from the Batasang Pambansa. Mavic, what happened?
As the House Committee on Justice began hearings on the supposed 4 impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte, the group that filed the second impeachment complaint has formally withdrawn it. The second impeachment complaint was filed by the group Tindig Pilipinas and was endorsed by Akbayan Party List Representative Percy Sandanya and Mamamayang Liberal Party List Representative Laila de Lima. However, the withdrawal did not stop the proceedings on the House Committee on Justice, as the pull-out of the second complaint does not mean the end of efforts to impeach the Vice President. Earlier today, the group that filed the second impeachment complaint, together with its endorsers, submitted a letter manifesto to the Office of the Secretary General of the House of Representatives to formally withdraw the complaint. Tindig Pilipinas, led by co-convener Kiko Aquino D, said that they continue to support the impeachment process, particularly the third impeachment complaint, which they said contains allegations similar to those in their own filing. Endorser Percy Sandanya explained that one of the reasons for the withdrawal was to help speed up the process and allow the case to be elevated to the Senate for a trial as soon as possible. The third impeachment complaint was filed by Pres Joel Saballa and was also endorsed by Congresswoman Laila de Lima. With the withdrawal of the second complaint, the committee will now hear 3 impeachment complaints to determine whether they are sufficient in form and substance. The Justice Committee has begun the opening statements of lawmakers who endorsed the 4 impeachment complaints. The committee is targeting to conclude today's hearings on determining the sufficiency in form of the complaints. If not completed, hearings may continue until Wednesday to resolve the 3 remaining complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte. Meanwhile, on the first day of the hearings, the group Bayan staged a protest at the south gate of the House of Representatives. The protest aimed to express support for the impeachment proceedings being conducted by the House. The group is calling for Vice President Sara Duterte to be held accountable and urging lawmakers to support the impeachment complaint against her. Mai?
Thank you, Mavic Trinidad, live from the House of Representatives. Former President Rodrigo Duterte's case at the International Criminal Court is likely headed for trial. That's according to the counsel of the group Duterte Panagutin Campaign Network. On Bilyonaryo news channels at the forefront, Attorney Jojo Lacanilao commends the prosecution's methodical and clinical presentation of the merits of Duterte's crimes against humanity case. Lacanilao notes that while Duterte's defense team, led by Nicholas Kaufman, raised some valid arguments, their overall case, he says, lacked strength and impact.
You mentioned na ang ICC parang pitbull. Parang pitbull siya, di ba? Yan yung description mo kanina before we started this interview.
Hindi bumibitaw ang ICC. So, the least I can say, no, just to be at least very objective on this, the issues are joined. And so there's no reason why this should not go to trial.
Meanwhile, Lacanilao says his group will still file a case against the 8 named co-perpetrators in FPRRD's war on drugs if the ICC decides not to pursue charges against them. Among those who have been named include Senators Bongo and Bato de la Rosa, former PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde, and former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre.
The most important for them is that the main perpetrator is actually in jail right now, which is President Duterte. And who knows, they may be satisfied to just indict him and convict him and let the others sort of be there as part of the common plan. Because it's important to point out that it was not just President Duterte who actually implemented this. There were other people who actually helped him. And that will show you the common plan, which is an important element in crimes against humanity.
A petition is filed before the Supreme Court asking the Senate to release the Blue Ribbon Committee's draft report on the flood control corruption scandal. For the details, we have Isaiah Mirafuentes of Abante. Isaiah, sino-sino ang mga naghain ng petisyon?
Yes, may naghain ng petisyon for mandamus and certiorari dito sa Supreme Court ang 3 abogado sa pangunguna ni Attorney Eldridge Marvin Aceron. Humihiling ito sa korte na utusan ng Senado na ilabas na ang draft report ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee kaugnay sa flood control scam. Ayon kay Aceron, kinakailangan malaman ng publiko ang estado ng investigasyon ng Senado dahil pondo ng publiko ang ginamit nila at posible rin daw nagapangin ng mga sangkot sa anomalya at mapolitika ang resulta ng report kung ito ay itatago. Sa pamamagitan daw ng paglalabas ng report, matutukoy ng publiko kung kakampi ba natin ang Senado. Matatandaan na naunang sinabi ni Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman Senator Ping Lacson na kalakip sa draft report ang pagrekomenda na kasuhan ng plunder sina Senator Joel Villanueva, Jingo Estrada at Chis Escudero. Ngunit kalaunan ay binago ito ng senador. Anya, imbis na kasuhan, isailalim na lang ang 3 senador sa preliminary investigation. Magugunita rin na may nauna ng 6 na senador na nakapirma sa draft report na kalaunan ay binawi ni Senator Mig Zubiri, J.V. Ejercito at Win Gatchalian ang kanilang pirma. Mai.
Thank you, Isaiah Mirafuentes ng Abante, nag-uulat. Coming up next, we hear from life coach Pia Acevedo as she shares how to transform your mindset, embrace wellness, and unlock your full potential. Don't go away. The Daily Dish will be right back.
Welcome back to the Daily Dish. We are joined today by a life coach who has helped countless individuals transform their minds, habits, and lives.
She's here to share her journey and the stories behind her impactful work. Please welcome to the studio Pia Acevedo, or otherwise known as Coach Pia.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here.
Wow, thank you for the energy.
Yes,
We love
I'm
it. It's
so
Monday.
glad to be here. I always believe nothing happens by chance. Everything happens for a reason.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I was informed that we had time today. And I always believe that. You see, on a Monday, nagkataon, no? People are usually busy. They're thinking of, oh no, mabigat Monday.
No,
So,
all our viewers
I
are
know.
always happy on a Monday.
Oh,
And we
okay.
like to put out impactful messages on a Monday because we don't actually, you know,
Starts the week right.
we've never thought about, oh, it's Monday, it's a heavy. No, we're like, it's Monday.
I love it.
Right?
Sige.
So,
Yeah.
can you explain to us, Coach Pia, what does a life coach do and what does it mean? Because you know you hear the term loosely,
Yeah,
unfortunately
yeah,
nowadays.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So we just want to maybe to qualify the title.
Yeah. So there are many coaches nowadays because it's already 2026, no? That means the needs of people have grown. I started coaching in 2001. So that means I've been doing this for over 26 years. And I had to go abroad to get my certifications. There weren't any certifications here. Unfortunately, that kind of rigor in our industry has transformed. Now it's easier to be a coach. You just own the title and then you become a coach of something. No? So 10 years ago, I actually put up an organization to help elevate the industry. So it's called Strengths Philippines, where I bring internationally certified coaches together in order for us to practice with one another and make sure that we transform the country. That's why it's called Strengths Philippines. So every coach should go through a certification.
Yes.
And then we have exams. And then after the exams, you now choose your market, your audience, and now you cater to that market.
Let's talk about that market and audience, because before we got on air, I did ask you, what specifically are you focused in?
Yeah.
Having done this for how many years?
Since 2001, so I'm on my 25th year as a coach that's certified.
Oh, grabe. Silver na. Okay.
Yeah, oo nga, because before that, my first job was I was teaching college theology at the Ateneo. So I'm actually a theologian.
But that okay, now that's where I ask. Okay, I didn't know that you're a theologian.
Yes.
So life coaching and theology actually can be separated by the Nile River. Okay. How did you
Yeah.
manage to mix theory of religion and life coaching?
Yeah. So the kind of theology that I was in was very daily, practical, because it's all about church sacraments.
Yes.
So sacramentalizing means things that are important to you. You have to now find symbols to bring it to the everyday.
Yes.
So it wasn't hard for me. It wasn't the Nile River for me. No, there are different kinds of theology.
Yes, because sometimes people. I'm sorry, I'm
Yes,
probably taking
yes.
over your minutes, but when you're life coaching somebody, you don't some people are discouraged to put religion as part of the conversation.
I have to go with this because
Yes.
if I can just be honest,
Yes.
how is that for someone like me who is actually agnostic, borderline atheist? Paano yun? But I need your services.
Yes, which brings me to the reason why I put up the One Core in 2009. So 17 years ago, I put up a corporation because as I left the Ateneo, I left the theology department around year 2000. And then from 2000 to 2008, I was doing the work in the corporate world. I realized that the language that we use has to be something that every single Filipino, no matter what background you are, it has to be very practical. The science behind it, the understanding of what is the next step if I decide to finally become the better version of me? Because a lot of people say, I want to be a better version of me, pero may steps ba yan? Hindi nila alam kung may steps. And
Meron nga ba?
Yeah. In my second book called Focus on What Matters, I talk about the Clarity Framework.
Okay.
So it's actually going to be the 10th year of the Clarity Framework soon. Oh, we're celebrating
Congratulations,
that. And we wanted to make sure that when people finally decide, I want to have my own personal clarity, we actually have steps to get there. The first step is called life data. You find out first, what is your data and what's the data of other people? Because I noticed with Filipinos, they like taking on, ina-adopt nila Aampunin nila yung data ng ibang tao, data ng nanay nila, data ng tatay nila, data ng mga kapatid nila. Meaning, it's other people's data, but you're bringing it on as yours. Meantime, you cannot see yourself because your own data is not prioritized. Pinaprioritize mo yung data ng mga mahal mo sa buhay. That's why my first principle in that book is, you cannot give what you do not have. So very important, you have to be the best version of you. If not, if you're the compromised version of you, then what happens is you're actually living and sharing a compromised version of you to the people that you love and to yourself.
Let's re-establish this, right?
Okay.
Because obviously we're going to the steps already.
Yes.
Perhaps what we can do is we can ask you what are the common challenges or life-changing situations that your clients have and how they overcame it.
Yeah. So in my third book, Moment to Moment, I talk about 6 profiles. There are 6 profiles of people who finally have to pause, be intentional, and create courage, no? Steps for courage for them to be the best version of themselves. The first person is, they've been successful all their lives and finally they found out, wait, parang it's not working anymore. So that's what I mean by life transition. Yung dati kong ginagawa, parang hindi na nagwo-work ngayon. Very interesting. So that person is now compelled.
So is it career, love life?
It can
so
be
those are the
any.
common challenges that people
That's
face?
one, yeah. Yung dati nagwo-work, parang hindi na nag-work ngayon.
Okay.
The second type of person is, I've always been caring for other people. I no longer can see myself. So it hasn't really been working for them, but hindi clear kung sino sila as an individual.
That's important because, like for example, somebody that's selfless, well, they think they're selfless and think that they gave everything. Now is the selfish one. So there's guilt there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in our culture, as soon as you start spending time just for yourself, to double down on self-mastery, meron talagang resistance. They feel like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Okay, Coach Pia, I know there are 6 profiles that you could share with us, but before we really get into that, I think what I really want to know is yung parang proof of concept ba? Because when you say transformation in life, ang rami, pati grief is also part of that, right? So, can you give us a story where you as a life coach or you as a coach changed someone's lives and in return, that person also changed your life. So the most
Changed my life.
Yes, of course, because I believe that when you get to know your clients, the people you help, they also help you.
Oh my God, it's so countless, no? Kasi many, many years. I can give examples of people from the different profiles. Let's talk about one person first who was always feeling like an outsider. So there are many of my clients who always feel like, how come I'm not part of the group? What makes me different? And because of that, there is a giving up attitude na parang, okay, since I can't hear myself anyway, I'll just go with the agenda and what other people want. And that really pains me. So I talk about the science of listening to the self. That when you hear yourself and you know your preferences, you believe it, and then you execute based on what you hear, instead of, how come I'm not like other people? Oh no, I'm not like other people. So never mind, sila na lang kasi I'm comparing myself to them and then I'm not the same. So a client of mine who's been through changes, many changes, of course, you talk about isolation in school, isolation in their social life, always feeling like an outsider, and then looking for a mentor, looking for someone who will validate that it's okay to be different. In fact, you have to embrace your uniqueness.
You gotta celebrate uniqueness.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in our setting, we don't have the role models that celebrate that. In fact, what your parents or what your mentors or titos, titas, lolas will say is, bakit hindi ka katulad ng iba? So instead of you're embracing, di ba, what you're really good at, ang nangyayari is, they end up wanting you to toe the line, di ba? So even when she wanted to embrace what was unique in her, merong resistance yung kanyang environment. So what happens is, you have to really exercise muscles to hear the
That's
self.
so sorry. I gotta say that kawawa naman that person. That's so selfish.
Make
of the
her sit
others.
here.
Because I just don't understand that kind of resistance and, somebody trying to go.
But sometimes it's self-talking when the way that
Actually,
you...
mirrorizing it
possible.
also. Ay, baka sabihin nila that I can't do this or I can't be unique.
Sinasabihan kasi sila.
Oh, God.
Kasi
As
the
in
Filipino setting.
verbatim?
Yeah, the
Kaya
Filipino.
You don't belong here, tipong ganon?
Sinasabi na, well, especially, let's talk about the family first.
Yeah.
The family has expectations from their children. And when the family feels
How
like you're
archaic.
you're not doing what they feel you are capable of doing, although what is really capable of doing mean, di ba?
Yes, but Coach Pia, hang on. We're gonna have a little cliffhanger. We're gonna break.
Sige,
Chal.
sige.
We know we're just starting it up and gearing up for deeper conversations with Coach Pia. So guys, stick around. The Daily Dish. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Daily Dish. Still with us, live coach Pia Acevedo. So before we went on break, Coach Pia was telling us about somebody that's gone through something transformative and impacted you. So this is individual that has a unique self-being, but was being prevented from exploring that.
Yeah. A big part kasi of our culture is, it's the energy that you feel, that deviation is not really something very welcome in our culture. Hanggat maaari, especially with families na merong malinaw na expectations, either you were given responsibilities as a very young person. So
Yes.
a lot of my clients, they carry yung mga concerns ng mga kapatid nila since they were young. And even as adults today, they're still thinking about their
And
family.
they rehash it.
Oo,
During
so
family
nahihirapan.
reunions,
During Christmas. Alam na this.
Yeah,
Okay.
very hard.
But having done this for 25 years or so, what changes have you seen already in terms of life coaching, the clientele that you have? Is it still mostly women? Are men also getting help?
What I love about the industry now is even the coaches are more diversified, meaning we can have coaches as young as in their 20s.
Yes.
Kasi they're catering to also a different specialization. So
Right,
pwedeng,
you're so right.
Yeah.
Like Jacob Ejercito, one of my favorite people in the whole world. He is a fitness coach, but he does it differently. Remember Jacob?
Yes, we had him
So
here.
he's got religion that's part of his workout career, which is leg and then yourself.
Yeah. So you see that una, nag-iiba, ang dami ng specializations.
Yes.
So find the chemistry with a coach that you can journey with. The difference kasi between coaching and counseling, psychology, and psychiatry is it's always forward moving. You don't have to look at your past. So where are you now? Where do you want to go? That's the job of the coach, to take you from point A to point B. Versus if you want to go to therapy, go to a psychologist, a counselor, because then you will look at past experiences.
This is so clear to me now, just because you mentioned it. I did not know that that's one of
There's
the
a
definitive
difference.
factor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Oo. But
That's
I mean,
why I
we
chose
know
coaching.
psychiatrists kasi
Oo.
there's medication,
Yes.
di ba? Psychology. Pero I like that the definition is moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
How funny have you seen your journey from where you started 26 years ago to now? Because you mentioned specializations. Obviously, with your over 2.5 decades of practice, you will see the movements in life coaching. Do you find it weird that there's like branches of specializations in the life coaching sphere?
No, I think there's a lot to celebrate there. Because every single individual will have to find their comfort. It's really a safety. Kasi that safe space that you have, merong coach na magmamatch sa'yo. So
Right.
maganda na nag-grow talaga yung industry.
Right.
It's really, that's why 10 years ago when I put up Strengths Philippines, there are over 300 coaches right now that we are helping grow, and we wanted to make sure that kung ano yung love nila, specialization nila, we also highlight.
Yeah, that's good because coaches also need coaches too.
Yes.
It's a coaches community.
Let's move forward,
Yes.
Coach Pia, okay? A lot of people are going through a lot of transformation right now. Could be grief, could be new love, new career, especially we're just in the first quarter of the year and we keep saying, you know, it's fire horse year, everything's moving fast. Give us tips that we could really use in our lives right now to better ourselves.
Okay. So, I'd love to use an acronym called MICK para madaling MIC, because I've been talking about MIC for many, many years, and I talked about it also in my second book. There should be 4 ways for you to see your life. First is motivation. Motivation, letter M is motivation. What are the habits that you need to put in place to be the best version of you? Do not compromise that. That means routine. What is it? Is it a daily routine? 3 times a week you're doing something. Every Saturdays you're doing the grocery, but you're intentionally putting that routine. It's like yun yung pillars mo, kumbaga sa foundation, right? Letter I is inspiration. Things that minsan mo lang gagawin pero full recharge. Like watching concerts, traveling, painting, watching the sunset, watching the sunrise. Minsan lang pero full recharge. Letter C is called cheer. Cheer are what do you put in place, habits you put in place to manage stress and anticipate stress. Because you can actually see how busy your calendar is and plug into your calendar already.
Like for
what are the
example,
activities to be the best version of you? So the examples of cheer can be people say, magpapamassage ako, ito, naka-target dito. I will see my friends. Kailangan magkita kami kasi kung di kami magkita, wala akong opportunity to vent, di ba? Or some people, they want their quiet time. No? They go off by themselves, which is something that we really value dito sa book na moment to moment because it's the intentional pause. And then letter K stands for kindness. Kindness is your ability to nurture, engage, encourage, be patient with yourself, just like you would your loved ones. Kasi kung ganito yung patience na bibigay natin sa ating mga loved ones, usually, yung encouragement and nurturing natin nandito sa baba para sa sarili, you should at least pantayin mo. Ano yung commitment mo kung paano mamahalin yung loved ones mo? Kailangan pantay-pantay. Hindi nga kailangan sobra pa because you have to be the best version of you. And when you look at it, those are all non-negotiable habits, MICK, for people to say, I can now take to the next level what my personal journey is.
Okay,
Nick.
Pero bigyan natin siya ng last name, P.
Ano yung P?
Patience. Because that's something I'm realizing that I'm lacking right now. Because the older I get, I guess, especially the last couple of months, I feel like my patience has gone through the roof.
But then it's also because you're going through a lot of transformation, super healthier now, right? You're changing your diet, your habits, so you're going through a lot rin.
Yeah, but still, the patience, I'm like, why are people not efficient? Like, it drives me insane. I know that's a negative thing because I've always championed myself as a patient person. And, you know, mindful of everybody around me. But then now, I'm like, I don't have the time for
It's
you.
shorter. Okay.
Not only much shorter. Even before you, I'm like, no.
So, what I love about what you're saying is now we can try to put that case into the biological level naman. Because our brain, and so I would be so interested to see what is going on. Kasi the thoughts that you're saying,
Are you sure?
What's going on in Ferdi's
If
brain?
you crack my brain, my head,
Yeah, kasi
it's
ganon.
Cirque du Soleil.
I like that.
Kasi you were the one saying, I used to be this, now I'm like this. So
Yeah.
those are the thoughts, no? And so understanding on a biological level, what do we need to nurture our brain? That's why I introduced here neuroclarity. So in this book, which is a 21-day journey, I talk about neuroclarity.
What's the promise there? In 21 days?
In 21 days, you are pausing with intention to find your clarity and compassion.
So you can bring
personal
Cirque du
clarity and
Soleil
compassion.
and make it into a prayer room.
No, my dear. The Cirque du Soleil in my brain is still developing into a sequel.
Into a sequel of, di naman horror.
Cirque du Soleil 2.
Well, mine I would say is a
Yes.
fiesta.
All right, so Coach Pia, you're
Yes.
going. Now it's our turn to
Yes,
life
yes.
coach you.
Yes, I
Okay,
love
so we have what we call our favorite rapid fire. So
love
we're gonna
that.
blurt out a few questions, and the first thing that pops in your head is what you
Okay,
say.
okay.
You
So
start, my dear.
let's start it off with this one. One word that describes your approach to life.
Collaborative.
A motto you live by.
Love, 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 love.
Okay.
Biggest lesson learned from failure.
Tomorrow's not promised, so do it today.
Best way to manage stress daily.
Breathe.
Breathe.
A habit you believe leads to success in individuals.
Forgiveness.
What is the secret to building self-confidence quickly or fast?
Okay, quickly, self-confidence, just watch yourself, evaluate yourself. Fast, quickly and fast. So, evaluate yourself and then ask for feedback.
Okay.
Feedback.
Okay.
Yes or no? Is it necessary to always push through to be successful?
No. Pausing sometimes has wisdom.
Okay. Yes or no? Can breaking a routine sometimes boost productivity?
Yes, because the brain is disrupted and you have neuroplasticity. So that's good. That's good.
Ooh.
We have a lot of.
Okay.
I like this. I like this
Neuroclarity, neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
So if I find somebody plastic, meron ka
Plasticity. Yung pala yung meaning.
Yeah.
Oh, but I remember, Mick. Thank you so much for all your sharings, Coach
Thank you.
Pia.
Thank you so much.
Nothing
Thanks for
happens by
joining
chance.
us.
Yes.
Everything happens for a reason. So every Monday, we drop a new podcast. So Monday ngayon, ang ating mga guests ay si Sofia Andres today. So around this time, we're dropping a podcast. So mga ka-moment ang pangalan ng aming mga kasama.
Okay.
So we're on Spotify and YouTube. So look forward to meeting all of your
Daily Dish watchers.
Daily
Dish
Dish ka-moment na may
Yeah.
ka-moment din sila.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully to see you again.
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
So now World Sports and Entertainment is up next. Stay tuned to the Daily Dish. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Daily Dish. We begin world news at the Vatican, where Pope Leo, head of the Roman Catholic Church and spiritual leader to more than 1 billion Catholics worldwide, is calling for an end to what he describes as a spiral of violence in the Middle East. Speaking at St. Peter's Square, the pontiff says he is watching the escalating conflict with deep concern. He stresses that lasting stability cannot be built on threat of weapons, but only through reasonable, genuine, and responsible dialogue. An expert on the Iran crisis says it will be hard for the Trump administration to maintain its support if war continues in the Middle East, with more casualties happening on the U.S. side. This comes as the U.S. military announced the first American casualties of President Donald Trump's intensifying attack on Iran. Two U.S. officials speaking on condition of anonymity told Reuters the U.S. service members were killed on a base in Kuwait.
There's been some surprise, including by me, about how aggressive Iran has been in attacking what is U.S. personnel and assets in the Gulf states, but still then also civilian infrastructure, civilian entities in those countries. If you add to it pressures from oil and a spike in oil, it makes it much, much more challenging.
Gilas Pilipinas regroups after being defeated by Australia's men's basketball team in the FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers. Zeus Valdez has that story.
Gilas Pilipinas head coach Tim Cohn did not hide his frustration after a 93-66 blowout loss to the Australia men's national basketball team in the 2027 FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers at the Mall of Asia Arena. Gilas stayed competitive in the first half, executing its defensive game plan and keeping the Boomers in check, but a third quarter shift changed everything.
It was a very painful one, especially being in front of our home crowd. We did everything we wanted defensively. We held guys down. I thought we played a good first half. We came out third quarter, made a turnover right off the bat, and they turned it into a three-point play, and suddenly, they were off to the races.
Australia pulled away behind timely shooting and capitalized on Gilas' turnovers, while missed open looks further drained the home side's momentum. Cohn admitted his team struggled to recover once the Boomers built separation. Elijah Pepper, Mitch Creek, and Tom Wilson led a balanced Australian attack that turned a close contest into a drought. Meanwhile, Australia head coach John Peter Riley emphasized sportsmanship and praised the Filipino crowd, a far cry from the tension that marked the two nations' infamous 2018 meeting.
It was terrific atmosphere. Like that was a good regional FIBA game, and thank you to the Manila community for coming out and supporting the game the way they did, and I'm happy my team played as well as we did.
With Australia set to host the next phase of the qualifiers, Riley expects strong support from Filipino fans abroad. As the qualifiers move forward, Gilas is left to regroup after a humbling night, while Australia reaffirms why it remains among the world's elite. Zeus Valdez, Abante.
Daan-daan medalya ang pinaglalaban ngayon sa Paralong Bicol 2026. Sa detalye, nasa linya si Rosas Olarte. Rosas, sino ang nangunguna dyan sa palaro?
Hindi pa natin masyado ma-determine right now. Pero sa kaninang umaga, ngayong umaga, Ferdi, napunta ang unang 4 na gold sa mga atleta ng Camarines Sur at Camarines Norte sa unang araw ng bakbakan ngayon dito sa Palarong Bicol 2026 na ginaganap sa Legazpi City. Sina grade 11 student athlete Raymark Rustia ng Jaime Makatangay Senior National High School ng Camarines Sur ay nahagilap ang unang gold medal para sa secondary boys athletics ng 1,500 meter run. Sa girls secondary division, si Jomelyn Cortez ng Camarines Norte ang wagi ng gold medal, habang nakuha naman ni Lian Dacara sa elementary girls division ang gold. Nakuha rin ni Jeffers Delfino ang gold medal para sa Camarines Norte team sa elementary boys division. Ngunit may bad news. 2 atleta mula sa Catanduanes delegation ang hindi na makakapaglaro matapos pauwiin ang isa sa kanila dahil sa chickenpox, habang kinailangang operahan ng isa sa appendicitis. Naagapan na ito ng health team at inoperahan kagabi. Ang naoperahan sa appendix ay manlalaro sa chess secondary girls, habang sa secondary boys ay manlalaro sa athletics. Raise the bar naman ang goal ng DepEd sa Palarong Bicol na ito ngayong taon. Ayon kay Francisco Dexter Season, Regional Sports Officer ng DepEd Bicol, nais nilang hamunin sa mas malalaking challenge ang mga atleta ngayong taon hanggang makarating sa palarong pambansa. 441 gold, 441 silver at 447 bronze ang pinaglalabanan sa Palarong Bicol 2026. Ferdi?
Maraming salamat, Rosas Olarte. Nag-uulat dyan sa Bicol.
And on entertainment, a truly exciting news, Zendaya and Tom Holland have reportedly tied the knot. Zendaya's longtime stylist, Law Roach, confirmed the news on the red carpet at the Actor Awards. He told Access Hollywood that the wedding has already happened. The longtime couple met on the set of Marvel's Spider-Man Homecoming in 2016, went public with their relationship in 2021, and got engaged in 2025 after Holland confirmed Zendaya was his fiancée. Fans can catch them on screen twice in 2026 in Spider-Man Brand New Day and Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Catherine O'Hara is posthumously honored at the SAG-AFTRA Actor Awards. The late actress, who died in January at 71, won for outstanding performance by a female actor in a comedy series for Apple TV's The Studio and as part of its ensemble cast. Seth Rogen accepted the awards on her behalf, praising her generosity, talent, and lasting impact on co-stars and the show. O'Hara's career spanned 5 decades, and fans and colleagues continue to celebrate her legacy in film and television. Up next, we will be speaking with visionary interior designer Cecil Ravelas. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Daily Dish. Designing has always been her passion, leading to a fruitful career.
Joining us now in the studio is the founder of Red Interior Design and national president of the Philippine Institute of Interior Designers. Let's all give her a big round of applause for being here.
My favorite, Cecil Ravelas. She's not new to Bilyonaryo News Channel. She is a friend of Bilyonaryo. Yeah.
She's just a friendly Nario.
She's a friendly Nario. Yes,
Bilyonaryo din.
Yeah, at saka Bilyonaryo rin.
Okay, I like the honesty. Thank you.
You have to state
Go for it.
Okay, so I want to find out what drew you to design. Because a lot of people really do interior designing, but early on when I got to talk to you, you have been doing it and transforming yourself along the way too. So what got you started?
Correct. So I think when I was a kid, I was already very creative. So my first love was really fashion. But you know, when you're doing that, you automatically switch to fixing your house, fixing your space. So eventually, when I was choosing a career, I decided to be into design.
That's funny,
design.
Cecil, because some designers, let's talk about Gianfranco Ferré, even Giorgio Armani, and even locally Francis Libian, they came from the world of architecture.
Yes,
and
correct.
became fashion icons.
Correct.
You're the other way around.
I'm the
Fashion
other way around.
To interior design.
Correct. I mean, and kasi during our time,
Wow.
there was not,
But
not much option kasi for a school to go to.
Sorry, did I pick up on that right? You started in fashion?
Well, my interest was in fashion.
Okay.
But my schooling was already interior design.
Okay.
Actually, engineering and then interior design.
Okay, idagdag pa natin yan.
Engineering because I had to start, you know, during our period, parang creative work was not considered a profession. And I come from a family of professionals. My dad's a businessman, accountant. So when I said I want to be a designer, una nga fashion designer, parang ano yun?
Was it frowned upon?
Oo, parang it was frowned upon. And then I said, okay, I was good at math, so start with engineering. And I did, but in the middle of it, when I was having nightmares, I was like being chased by giant numbers. I said, Dad, I think I have to shift. So
Really?
that's when I shifted mid-career.
That's like my brother Suki. He was going to be a doctor. And he was dreaming
Dr.
about
Suki.
Yes, he was dreaming about zygotes. He's like, this is not my life. But
Correct.
can I ask you, Cecil, it is Women's Month, and you pointed out something very important. Did you think that when you started, it was male-dominated, and that females at that time, if you chose a creative career, that's like, okay, pang babae yan.
Oo. And then it's parang considered like it's not considered a career. Parang pang housewife, parang hobby. It's a hobby school, like parang a finishing school. But I said, you know, there's more. Even when I was practicing na, ha?
Really?
Even actually, now it's more open. We are more open. But there are still some parts of the industry that considers the profession as nothing serious. In fact, that's one of my campaign now as a president of the organization. We want to educate the audience. We want to educate basically everyone that it's a serious profession. It's not just about stuff. They just see the glamour, but in reality, that's like a small percentage.
Yes, yes. Did you feel the same way when you were going or choosing your career? Since it's Women's Month.
I would say that the non-traditional career path eventually later on transformed into eto pala yung dapat.
Correct.
Especially nowadays, whether it's photography, being a chef, being an interior designer,
It's
an
a soft
agent.
trade.
Yeah,
I think that you can use it.
They used to call it soft trade, but I changed it. I want to call it essential.
Yeah, it is.
I agree with you.
It is. I mean, even now, construction is considered a male-dominated industry. And I would when I was starting, talagang iniiha-iha ako sa site, and I said, "Excuse me, I'm the designer."
Excuse
and
me, I'm Iho.
I'm Iho. I'm not the Iha, diba? So there's a struggle, but I think over time, even now, you have to assert yourself. Talagang you find your voice as
In 2026, I'm quite I'm surprised about that notion.
Yeah. Surprisingly, there are still some sections.
And somebody like you with a very strong presence, with a very distinct character.
Will not allow it.
Will not allow it.
Exactly.
Diba?
Ako naman ang iniisip ko, at this age, I want to be called Iha.
Well, actually,
way back before, no. But now, sure, call me Iha.
Ako rin, gusto ko na Iha.
No, but I call people Iha and Iho now. So it's age.
It's love. It's Okay, I'm seeing right behind you some of the stuff that you've gotten to design and work on. What is the Cecil Ravelas signature look?
There is none. I mean, well, I would like to think there's none because my training is really to work with the client, with the need. And normally I work with brands because I really focus on hospitality, so hotels, retails, restaurants. And when I was doing that, you work with the parameters set by the client. So, but over time, I started working, I specialized on boutique projects, meaning I have a free hand on creating the story for the client. So we started doing brand stories, and that's more exciting because I really have like a clean slate. So I work with the site, it depends. So if it's a hotel in El Nido, then I work the story out from the environment. But it's more creative in that sense. But recently, I was sharing earlier, because of my spiritual journey also, there has been some reawakening. And from hospitality practice now, in the recent years, I've been focusing on wellness design. And what is wellness design? That is already integrating my energy practice in creating spaces. Because I think I've been doing it unknowingly. Because I have clients who say, the house you built for me, parang I don't want to step out na. For the hotels I've been doing, parang, this is like perfect, the quiet feel, that's what's needed. So in not so many words, my practice has been creating safe spaces. So I work with colors, with textures, with different materials, tactile materials, but still there's that balance, which is very important. And over time, as I mature as a designer, I've mastered the skill, and because there has been an awakening, Ferdi knows that we've been doing meditation together.
I'm a witness.
There has been gifts that have been opening, so that's been part of my work now.
Yes.
It's integrated.
You have just recently, I'm stitching this with your statement, Cecil. You've just been elected as president of your organization, of Philippine Interior Designers, right? How will you assert your position right now with this whole amazing Tony organization and creating a difference in the Philippines?
With
the First Lady.
Yes, and I've been really the previous board had done very well in elevating the organization, but now the challenge for me is to bring it out to the next level. And to me, it's really deepening and expanding the audience. To me, I don't see us as just an organization for the creative, but we are a tool or an agency for cultural development. And to me, because I'm into wellness and now really providing sanctuaries, so even to the designers, the members of the org, we're now about to bring them workshops, trainings for mental health, for wellness, so that as practitioners, because imagine you work with different spaces, with your homes, with your houses, and that could be a healing space. And so with that, we're really empowering the org. We're now, we're positioning ourselves as the champion for Filipino design in a local and global setting. And in fact, in last 2 weeks ago, we had our oath taking, and in my speech, I said, at the end of the day, we need to know who are ourselves. So we're deepening of roots, because the only way to move forward is for you to know who you are. So deepening our roots, responding to the current need, of which, we're faced with stress, with a fast-paced lifestyle. So how do you contend with that? And everybody across industry, that's the concern. And we can be doctors for those spaces by creating spaces that heal. And bringing also to the future now the Filipino design. Like, where are we? How do we respond to the emerging technology like AI? We're faced with sustainable issues. In fact, here in the country, I don't see it as sustainable anymore. It's emergency crisis. Because we are feeling na climate change.
Yes.
And while in other parts of the world, they're still talking about sustainability, here, we're living sustainably naturally, but we're already responding also to crisis. The flooding,
Yes.
the typhoons that we're experiencing. So
Rising of water levels,
yes,
especially
yes.
coast.
So as designers, we should really respond to it. It's no longer as an option. Before, it's an option whether you want to go sustainable. Now, it's really something that you have to think about and integrate.
Okay, aside from sustainability, sorry to interject, I just wanted to find out, where are we nga ba?
Yes.
In terms of the world design, aside from sustainability, of course.
Where are we in the world design? Of course, there are like some Filipino designers, even fashion that has been recognized, but we're really not there on the top. We're just touching the surface. But in the region, Asian region, we've already established our influence. So in fact, in the next few weeks, I'm attending the ASEAN design meeting in China. So the previous board was able to elevate and was able to establish our voice. So our peers in the region recognizes us as a very good Filipino, community of interior designers. But we need to increase that exposure, and it has to be a collective effort. Across industry, like even in architecture, the recent Philippine Pavilion World Expo was recognized. That was designed by Carlo Calma.
Yeah.
So we're known, but it could be a stronger presence. We're still very baby in the global setting, and in reality, we really need to also elevate the standards locally. That's why that's my call also for the organization. Elevate, meaning we really need to expose ourselves to new technology.
Right.
Elevate our skills. Creativity is inherent in us.
In
I think
Filipinos,
Filipinos are really, in fact, if there's any currency that will really bring us to the global context, it's really our ingenious and inherent creativity.
Yeah, Cecil, may I ask you, since you're championing this and you are a poster child for global interior domination, what do you think is the Filipino stamp for interior design?
I was asked that recently, and I said,
Ay, hindi ka pala original.
hindi na original. But, sorry. But
we're still talking about interior domination. As
interior
per Ferdi.
No, but sabi ko nga, how do we, for sustainability, that's so inherent to us. Alam mo yung, we take it for granted yung aliwalas.
Yes.
Yung mga use of ventanilla. That's
ventanilla.
like the principle of sustainability when you discuss it in context in Western But to us,
it's
a regular
normal,
Joe,
day-to-day.
it's a normal thing. It's a day-to-day thing.
Wala kayong ventanilla.
Oo, di ba?
Right? Like even in the bahay kubo situation. If you notice,
yes, there's still.
And there's slats on the floor because in the house they don't make they don't make it dikit, right? There's ventilation.
Yeah.
And that's ingenious.
And then of course now modern times we're not in the anymore. We have a lot of materials, indigenous materials like abaca, bamboo that's already being used now in furniture, as wallpaper. And these are really sustainable materials that can be promoted outside. It's just that, of course, technology-wise, that's where we're lacking. That's why I really want to bring in, for foreign speakers also, who can bring in new trade, new practice, technology to elevate. Kasi while we are creative, we also need to up our skills.
Yes.
So, and the thing
It's
is,
collaborative.
It's collaborative, and unfortunately, we don't have manufacturing industry. I mean, like our furniture industry is nowhere in comparison to China, in comparison to our neighboring countries. And yet, they hire Filipino designers to work for them. And that says a lot, right?
Correct.
But yun na nga, due to many factors to be considered, we're lacking that infrastructure.
Right. But Cecil, we want you to say more. Why?
Because right now we're going to be doing our rapid fire. And we can sense how great of a leader you are for your institution.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know this is going to be easy peasy for you. Okay. Rapid fire, just tell us the first thing that comes into your head when we ask these questions. Choose one.
Aye.
All right? I'll start off with minimalist or maximalist?
Minimalist.
Neutral tones or bold colors? I know the answer to this.
What?
I
Neutral
don't.
tones or bold colors?
Bold colors.
Kasi kung sinabi niya neutral, I will go against the bold colors you're wearing right now.
Yeah,
okay.
correct.
So, vintage or contemporary?
Contemporary.
Open plan or defined spaces or rooms?
Open.
Okay. Statement lighting or statement furniture? If you could only choose one.
Lighting.
Oh gosh. Marble or wood?
Wood.
Mood lighting or natural light?
Natural light is always the best.
Agree.
Dream city to design?
Dream city? Shit, ang hirap. Actually, Manila.
Manila.
I want to preserve and, really reposition Manila.
Okay.
Cute, diba?
Cute.
Very cute. Design rule you love breaking.
Shit, lahat.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Am I allowed to say that?
bleep.
I'm on TV, but that's how you know how real Cecil is. Next question.
Okay. But you're obsessed with right now, bleep.
What am I?
What are you obsessed
What
with?
am I
Material?
obsessed with? Bamboo.
Okay. Coffee table books, yes or no? Like here.
No, really.
Sige, alisin ko na yung sa akin. Update ko lang. Most underrated designing element.
Underrated?
Yeah.
Plants.
Plants.
I know you said you work with your clients and what they want, but one word that defines your style.
Ay, shucks. Balance. I'm very good at, I layer texture and colors, but it will always feel balanced and quiet.
Wow, I need that in my
Since
life.
you already have 1 billion pesos in your bank account, if we are able to give you another 1 billion to spend it frivolously, what would you spend it on?
I build community
Yung selfish.
houses. Selfish?
Uh-huh.
I'll keep on traveling.
Okay, love the true answer. Yeah, so community plus traveling. Okay,
yeah.
Quickly, Cecil, this is not part of the questions, but your dream project, the next one that we can expect from you.
That's a hard one. But my dream project, actually, it's really being able to come up with a new shelter that works for our environment and that's accessible for ordinary folks.
I love that. I love that.
In fact, in World Bex, that's in 2 weeks' time, I have an exhibit, and that's one of the first study. Nag-promote.
I love it.
But it's a shelter that's flexible, but you know, you're at home and you can be
Feel
at
alive.
peace and you're alive.
Thank you.
Nice.
Wow, beautiful. We are so happy to meet you, Cecil Ravelas, everyone. Big round of applause for the lady.
Studio audience, yeah!
Congratulations on your leadership and thank you for the beautiful work that you do championing Filipino design. All right,
Thank you, Cecil, my favorite.
Stay tuned. The Daily Dish will be right back.
Welcome back to the Daily Dish. Tomorrow, we'll speak with veteran actress Hilda Coronel on her comeback film, Sisa, which had its world premiere a few months ago and will finally hit local cinemas this week. Excited for that.
Yes, super
The
excited.
Hilda Coronel.
The Hilda Coronel, multi-awarded
That's big.
actress.
Yes. And it's a, is it a comeback?
It's her comeback film.
It's
She's
a
been gone
comeback.
for, I think, 13 years
She
from
is
Philippine cinema.
Ageless, that lady.
I love
All right.
how we're doing this Women's Month, showing
Yes,
you
we
all
are
aspects of
championing.
women.
I am an ally
Definitely.
of you ladies.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the Philippine theatrical release of our film is on Women's Month, right?
As well,
It's
okay.
2 days from now. So that's it for us today. It's Monday, the first Monday of March. It's March 2. Join us again tomorrow for more Real Talk.
A lot of spilled tea with zero filter. I'm Ferdi Salvador, always on top of the news and stories that matter most to you.
I'm Chal Lontoc. Stay tuned to the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Thanks for making us your lunchtime companion. I'm Mai Rodriguez. That's the Daily Dish. Serve!
Happy Monday!